सुख है राम में रम कर देखो, सब देखोगे अंतर मन में राम को क्षण भर देखो, सब में राम ही राम समाए, सब में राम ही राम समाए, क्या हीरा क्या कंकर, राम नाम के दो अक्षर से तर गए हैं पत्थर, बिगड़ी बात बना देते हैं राम नाम दो अक्षर, राम नाम के दो अक्षर से तर गए हैं पत्थर। जय जय राम जय जय राम, जय जय राम जय जय राम, जय जय राम जय जय राम, जय जय राम जय जय राम।
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। So we have been studying about desire and wisdom, how all agitations result from desires. But where do desires come from? They come from the ignorance of the self. Only when there is ignorance of the self do we experience desire. So when we are not developed, let us say only develop 20%, then you will require 70%, 80% of the world to maintain a mental balance. And if that anything happens to that 80%, then you're knocked off. It's not possible for a person who's at 20% to say completely calm and okay if his 80% is gone away. It's not possible, right? Because he is going to be affected. And some people say, oh, I've done Vedanta for so many years, but I'm still affected. But if that 20% is 20% and you do need 80%, then that's that, right? This is just a cause and effect relationship. You say, no, but I worked so hard and I thought I'd grown up so much. Yes, maybe you've grown up. Maybe you came in when you were 2% and now you become 20%. But you still require the 80%. So it's a very cause and effect relationship. And if you can get matter of fact about that, life is so much simpler. If my mind is currently at this level, then these things are going to bother me. They're bothering me. That's that. Nothing else to it. Until I go up from this level, these things are bound to bother me. No objective, just objective towards whatever is the truth about my life. So now we're going to get into a little more analysis of this whole phenomenon. Okay. So far, so good. Any questions? So can we continue?
I have a question, please.
Good.
Regarding agitation, I understand that it comes from desire, but can we sometimes say that agitation can have a positive effect, or is agitation always harmful, let's say, or for instance, can agitation be the thing that gives us incentive to take action or to move forward or to develop ourselves even more?
Yes, agitation can be useful. Agitation is useful to convert tamas to rajas. When we are in a state of inactivity, inertia, laziness, agitation makes us wake up. So this happens at every stage of the journey, obviously. Every one of us has tamas right up to the very end, right? So what happens is sometimes we can perform very negative actions and be okay with it. But then one day it occurs to us that, oh, this is a very negative action. And then we get agitated. So that tamas is becoming rajas. So that way, yes, it can help us go forward. However, if you get agitated in the area where there is rajas already, then that agitation won't help. Because the only way to direct it is by becoming peaceful. If you're not peaceful, you can't direct. You create a further mess. So to go from tamas to rajas, yes, agitation is useful. In rajas, agitation can never be useful.
Okay.
So I take a simple example in terms of development. I have just found out that something I used to do in my past, maybe, or I've just found out that I'm eating meat. That's a terrible thing. And now I feel, okay, I'm not saying it's a terrible thing. I'm saying at the moment, this is how I feel. Oh my God, I've been eating meat. I've killed so many animals. It's terrible. How did I do it? And I'm agitated. So maybe I'll stop eating meat. But besides that, if I just go on and on and on about it, oh, I treated my mother badly, or I said something bad to my father, or just going on and on and on and on. That's not helping me grow. That's in fact pulling me back. So from tamas,
it will hinder the work of the intellect if it keeps going on and on. But at the beginning, at the first stage, it might improve the intellect. We might be able to use the intellect better to get to the rajas, and then we have to. No, it's not how it works.
Only pushes you into rajas.
Pushes
present either in tamas or in rajas.
All right. Okay.
That happens only in sattva. So that's not happening. So, but since I've been so ignorant, now I've recognized something. Anything, could be anything. I was rude to somebody, whatever, anything I recognize. So that initial agitation can push me into knowledge, in the sense rajas. But in rajas, now I have to use my intellect. Otherwise, the agitation will continue.
All right. Yes, it makes sense. Thank you.
So let's continue. So we did this, that all agitations come from desires. And where do desires come from? They come from the ignorance of the self. So wisdom and desires are inversely proportional. 20%, if you look down, desire, if it is at 20%, wisdom is at 80%. Or the other way around. When wisdom is at 80%, desire will be only 20%. If wisdom is at 40%, then desire will be 60%. Only when these two balance are you going to be happy. Will they go to the next thing? Happiness is a function of desire and wisdom. Desire, fulfillment, and wisdom together make up 100% happiness. Oh, it's written over here. If the wisdom is 70%, the individual requires 30% from the world to be happy. Wisdom provides an internal, stable satisfaction. Objects of the world provide external support to happiness. When these two are synced, the individual reports being happy. Now, think about this a little bit. Suppose my development is 10%, but I have 90% of the world. What am I going to think?
I am at 100%.
I'm a very developed soul. I don't need anything. I've got, the belief is that I'm happy, so I don't have desires, so I'm a very developed soul. Every one of us in this class can think so. And I'm fine. But the reason we believe we are fine is because
All our desires are being met.
we have that external support. External support means all the desires, whatever we want, it's there in the environment for us. Now, there could be a person who is at 80% development, but he doesn't have 20% of the world. Such a person will be
Be agitated.
agitated. And then this person who has all the external support will say, see these people, they're totally not developed. All agitated. So it's a very interesting phenomenon if you think about it. Therefore, it's best that we don't look at others and their agitations, but continue our own spiritual path. Don't even look at your own agitations, because it doesn't matter, whatever it is. What is important is that spiritual development has to go on. If a child is all the time worried that he's agitated, he's not going to become a teenager, right? Don't worry about whether you're happy or whether you're agitated, all the material, all that's important is,
Am I growing spiritually?
okay, so what's really important?
Am I doing the 3 yogas?
Or at least at the very beginning, what is very important?
Am I waking up in the morning and studying?
Finally. Yes. Am I waking up in the morning and studying? That is your only responsibility. Do that much in life. That is all you have to do. Don't worry, oh, my life is like that. Oh, I'm like this. All that is all immaterial. Because you really don't know, right? What do you know of 100%? So how are you going to know whether you're 80% or 20% or 50%? Don't worry about it. Just doing what you ought to do for your development, which means primarily getting up in the morning and studying. And once you're stable with that, doing your karma yoga. Once you're stable with that, bhakti yoga. Once you're stable with that, upping this up a little bit. That's what we have to be worried about. Not results, but actions. Okay, so wisdom and desires are inversely proportional. Vedanta wisdom. Who is Vedanta wisdom today? Oh, Omkar. Okay. Yes, Omkar.
Sorry. Is there a difference between wisdom and intellect? Or is the same thing?
No, it's different. It's different. It's a little complicated, okay? Wisdom is your mind. When you say I am wise, that means your mind is like that. You say I'm wise with this knowledge means the mind itself is not interested in the lower things. However, if you can't say wisdom is the mind, you will have to say wisdom is the intellect, right? So when the knowledge is digested by the intellect, it is the mind that changes. Now, whatever your level of wisdom is, your desires are different. Now, application of your intellect means you have to go higher. So just because I'm doing, I'm doing better than the others, I could be totally mind-led. It's just that my mind is not, happens to not be interested. For instance, in my life, I've never smoked. I have no interest in smoking, and I don't even know what smoking is. Never done it. Now, if I pat myself on the back and say, oh, I never smoked, it's meaningless because there was no effort involved. There was no coming out of it involved. It's meaningless. I happen to be born without a desire for smoking. I mean, thank God I happen to be born, otherwise, one more trouble for me. But I happen to be born like that. So you can say my intellect is strong and therefore I am not interested in smoking, but that's not really the case. The real case is my mind is not interested. And so therefore there's no effort. So if I want to be good, I have to do something more than just not smoke. Okay.
And one more question is that one often comes across people who they say have zest for life. They want to live life to the fullest. I mean, they have many desires, and they also have the means to. I mean, they somehow manage to even achieve those desires. So those that zest for life is more desires, and yet they are happy. So in our diagram, uh, their ability to fulfill the desires is greater. Is that correct?
Zest for life is to do with objectivity. You cannot have zest for life unless you're an objective person. What is zest for life? That you continue to be enthusiastic, eager, you have interest in things. You're not like, oh, I'm not interested in anything. Not like that, right? So, how can you continue to be interested in things? Because you're an objective person. And such a person usually is able to fulfill their desires because it's not a big deal fulfilling your desires. Shipram hi manushe loke siddhar bhavati karmaja. The reason people don't, what that means, Joyce, I mean, I'm sure none of the others also understand, but the quotation from the Bhagavad Gita, which says that quickly indeed, manushe loke. Shipram means quickly, very fast. Indeed, Shipram hi, indeed, very fast, like, emphasizing the quickness. Manushe loke, in this world of men and women, siddhir bhavati karmaja. From action, results, success is born very quickly. You say, no, it's not born quickly. The reason it's not born quickly is because our action is incorrect. And action is incorrect begins with our own confusion about what we want. If you know what you want and you go for it, quickly you will have it. You put on your blinkers and you go for that thing. But we won't do that. We will say, I want money. Then I say, no, but money is not a good thing to get. I think I should do social. But social work, is it really any good? Because how many people can you help after all? In all that time, life is gone. Okay, so decide where you're going. Blinkers on. Do it. You have to get it. There's no, what else is going to happen? The thing is, our goal is only Dagmadol. So, objective people, goal is never Dagmadol. That is very fixed. Dagmadol, Joyce means, I don't know, how do you translate Dagmadol? No, it is like unstable.
Wishy-washy.
Wishy-washy. We don't know what we want. You want ye bhi chalega, wo bhi chalega. This will also do, that will also do. Suppose I ask you, do you want a Lexus? Omkar, yeah, okay, I'll have a Lexus. Or would you prefer an Audi? No. Yeah, Audi will also do. No, but have you ever thought of a Rolls? Yeah, Rolls will also do. And you won't get any of them. You decide what you want and you go straight for it. It's like marriage, you have to decide who you want to marry and go for it. You cannot say, okay, this one will also do and that one will also do, then you'll end up marrying nobody. You didn't do that, right? Everybody you got married, fixed on a person, and went through with it one way or the other. Oh, halfway through, you said, not this one, maybe that one. You will marry nobody. So, objective people are very clear about what they want. They're very clear about what they think they need to do to get it. They're very clear about what course correction will, as the situation unfolds, they're very clear about the course correction required. So, quickly indeed. So, zest for life, objectivity, success usually all go together. But you may feel like, yes, I understand what you're saying, but I don't feel those people are so objective. Or I feel they're quite childish. Do you feel like that?
No, what I feel is that they are intellect. I mean, their intellects in their professions are pretty high, but wisdom, I'm not too sure. That's why I was trying to understand the difference. So if I have a challenge in life, maybe I will not consult them. But if I have a challenge in something that uh, is regarding their profession, then I will go to them.
Yeah, so that's what you mean, that you don't think they're objective. They're pretty childish otherwise. You don't look upon
Childish. No, not real. Is it childish? I mean, if you're not.
immature. You're not going to approach them for any guidance, means they're immature.
Okay, yeah.
But the reason you think so, and most people in the class, I think, would agree with you, it's the most obvious thing that you look around you and you don't really feel that these people are objective, because for us, objective is a big thing, right? But what happens in life is that objectivity in the area of which you are functioning. You're functioning in that area, you have objectivity. Is relatively easy. Right? Like a doctor can be objective towards his patients because he's trained in that. He knows how to do it. A businessman is objective in terms of his business. He's trained in that. So there are people who can be objective in these back pockets and they transact with very few pockets. So when you're looking at objectivity, you're thinking of the whole wide world as if it's Vedanta we're talking about. They are just functioning in one or two pockets. And that their intellect can manage, so they're doing well. But if anything happens outside those packages, then the zest for life and all of this is going to go. So if you want to be consistent in zest for life, you'll have to be a Vedantam. But if you're doing it in a pocket or two, that's relatively easy. But most people don't even do that. So shall we continue?
I had a
Yeah, go ahead.
follow-up to the reason a Vedantan is objective
Mhm.
towards the whole, I mean, not just in pockets, but towards the whole thing is because he's he's trying to basically better himself. He's he's trying to aim towards a higher state, and thus, like his entire level goes away when he moves ahead.
Yes,
But
if he's objective is because his aim is high.
aim is high. Is his aim,
He's not
because
trying. He's
yeah,
aiming high.
and he cognizes it as such because, like a doctor, he's also doing something very difficult. I mean, it is cognitively very tasking, but he is not thinking of uh, it like that, and thus, I mean, he's still thinking of himself when he's doing that. He's like, I'm trying to better my skills or whatever. His
No,
What's the difference basically in the two scenarios between a Vedantan striving for a higher ideal and the doctor doing that, uh, like striving for a specialist or whatever? What's the difference?
selfishness.
And that selfishness is the marker in which one has objectivity towards the pocket and the other has objectivity towards the whole level.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
what are you thinking of? Are you thinking of yourself or are you thinking of the goal? Now, Aditi has come up with a new idea. She has volunteered to do a new idea. You all can all also help her. She says, why don't we do a retro music program? She's going to sing. You know, she's a singer. The bhajans you sing here before class are Aditi's bhajans. Oh, well, not all of them, but many of them. And she is said that why don't we do a retro musical program as a charity drive to raise funds for Vedanta University. Now that's a great idea. Now the question before her is, shall I do like a big one, okay? We do 10,000 rupees a ticket. And first row is 10,000, second row is 5,000, third row is what was it, 2,000, 1,500, like that, big one. Or shall we not just unnecessarily think very big, but do 500, 300, 100, all sure, right? You all want to take a vote on this? What would you think? What would you advise her? Which one should she go with? Come on, yeah. It's not a philosophical question. You can answer.
Mhm. No, it
Right?
depends on so many things. Where is she hosting it and whatnot? What's the audience like?
All that will be fixed only after you fixed what is the scale. Are you going with the 10,000 one or the 500 one? So based on that, she'll have to fix all the other details. What would you tell her? Or whatever in between. The cheaper prices attract more people. So you're going, Joyce, with the cheaper one? Yes? Okay. What are you all saying? Come on. Quickly advise Aditi and tell her what would you tell
If
her?
it is, if it is positioned and marketed as a charity dinner like that, then I would go with the higher pricing, the 10,000 and stuff.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah,
like I would
that is
agree with Omkar as well because yeah, like we have to kind of
but
do it like that.
otherwise I
Yeah.
would, yeah, otherwise I would be go with Joyce's thing. But if it's the venue and all is all top class, then yes, 10,000.
Yes, Deepraj, what were you saying?
No, it's just same as Omkar, 10K is fine.
Tisha also, 10K. You people are so ambitious, 10K. You all are selling tickets for her. You all will tell her 10K. Who's selling the ticket? Okay. All right. Anywho, what about the rest of you? Why are you all not saying anything?
I'll go for the cheaper ones.
You go for the cheaper one. Give her a number. No, don't say cheaper.
500, 300, 100, because normally that is the in Delhi when we go for shows and all, no?
500.
That is the normal rate.
Okay. Then what are the rest of you saying? Only those with their cameras on are saying. Taruna is going with 1,000 as her max price. First row, what's your price? Let's ask a clear question. First row, what's your price? Taruna, 1,000. Okay. What about the rest of you? What, you all are so frightened in the Vedanta class? You're sure there's something coming at the end of this?
But Janki, I think it's important to understand. If I've understood Aditi correctly, it's going to be a participative program, like it's like a karaoke kind of a thing.
No.
No?
We can decide anything, but first we have to decide pricing. Everything else will follow. Surekha, 5,000 first row. Oh yeah. Now, I'd like you to consider this. Anyone else is going to give an answer. Don't be so frightened. I am not catching you all. Everybody thinks here's something coming at the end of this. Okay. Now, I want you to consider this. What did you consider when you gave a number? Right? Here are some possibilities. You could have considered things like how much money will we get? So maybe if you have more, Joyce's theory that if you charge it less, then you get more people. So let's say, Joyce, you charge it at 500 rupees. And you do get more people. You get 100 people. So now somebody, Deepraj, 500 into 100 is how much?
That's like 20 times the amount. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me no. What you tell me? Not the equation you're giving me. You give me
Okay.
500 into
So
500 you mentioned, right?
no. She got 500. She charged, and she got 1,000 people at 500. How
Just
much money did she make?
Just 5 lakh rupees.
What?
500 into 1,000 is 5 lakh rupees.
Not 1,000. 100 people.
50,000.
50,000. Right. So suppose she charged 1,000 and got 60 people. Then what happens?
3 lakh rupees.
60,000.
60,000.
Sorry?
60,000.
I'm hearing your question.
If you have more people, if you have lesser cost, more people come. Let's say 100 people at 500. You got 50,000, right? But if you increase the price to say 1,000, then 60 people will come. I'm just making up figures, okay? Because you said less people will come. So 60 people will come for your show at 1,000. Now how much have you got? You got 60,000, right?
60,000.
Yeah.
1,000.
So which one gave you more? Small amount with a bigger crowd or bigger amount with a smaller crowd? So I'm just analyzing this. We're not deciding anything over here. Aditi will decide whatever she wants to. The point of this discussion, I hope you remember what was the point of the discussion. Remember where we were? Anybody
Yeah,
remember?
we're
Huh?
deciding why we're setting that particular price.
Why are we discussing Aditi and her project?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like why? How is a goal? How is an ideal and a goal? Yeah.
Very good. Chalo, bhai. At least you know your own question. That itself is a great thing in life. So, how are you becoming more objective? Selfish versus unselfish. That's your marker, right? So, now when Aditi takes a call, she will eventually take a call. Which one do I want to go with? What all is she going to consider? What all did you consider? Did you not consider anything? Okay? Just randomly say something. Then that was
Thomas, I mean, no thought behind it.
no thought behind it, just said something. Or you started considering. So you got into Rajas. So what were you considering? Joyce considered, oh, if we have a lower number, we'll get more people. This is what she considered when she came to her conclusion, whatever that was. We're not discussing conclusions are right or wrong. Okay, that's not our point here. The point is, what did you consider? How much did you consider? The higher you, the more unselfish. Like for Aditi, what is the easy thing for her to do? Have a small price, have a small audience, and we're good, we're done. Is she considering convenience? On the other hand, is she going to pitch so high that she sets herself up for failure? Sorry, Aditi, I don't mean to make your life even more difficult. You're too low, then you're staying in comfort. You go too high, you set yourself for failure because you've gone well beyond what you can achieve. Right? What all are you considering? Its impact on you, its impact on the university, its impact on humanity. The more higher you think, the more objective you are in terms of your decision making. But the lower you think, like suppose your your mother tells you, go to the market and get me a vegetable, whatever. Go buy this vegetable and come. Now, what are you considering? I'm too bored to go to your market and buy your stupid vegetable. Right? Can such a person be objective? Maybe you're considering, oh, my mother does a lot for me and I should do something for her. Now you become objective because you have become
Unselfish.
unselfish. Right. So now if Aditi just says, oh, I must show everybody how much I have to collect, how much I was capable of doing for the university. And she pitches like a 20,000 ticket or a 10,000, I mean, whatever, any high number. Now she's no longer objective because the thought is
Selfish on her. On her.
right. So as long as the thought of self stays, you cannot be objective and your decision goes wrong. Because either you want to show off or you want to hide in your cave, or it's all about me, one way or the other. I want to be comfortable, I want to be convenient, I want to hide in my cave, or I want to show off, I'm so great, I can do so much, I do better than you guys. But the bottom line of all this is me. Both ways, okay? In choosing low and choosing high. Who will get the right decision? The one who has put himself or herself out of the picture. That's the person who
Hmm.
the right decision.
Yes, so the reason why this unselfishness kind of is correlated with objectivity is because when we are not thinking of ourselves, like our intellect has the capacity to kind of think of others, and we can make that connection. And because we're making that connection, we can see the wider picture.
Simple English will tell you that. What is the opposite of objectivity? Opposite, English language.
Subjectivity.
Subjectivity.
Very
Yeah.
good. Objectivity. इतना नहीं सोचने की जरूरत यहाँ. Opposite of objective is subjectivity. Subjectivity
No,
comes because of huh? Yes, correct. Say no. Why you were right. Focus on myself. So what is the
yeah,
object?
but that
Huh?
okay.
What is
But
the
that is a different, but that's a different subjectivity objectivity thing, right?
why? It's the same one. Why is it different?
No, that's like setting up a factual truth versus your interpretation of it,
Yeah,
right?
you cannot have a factual truth if you're thinking about its effect on yourself. It's the same thing.
What if
But
her objective is that more and more people will be able to enjoy the event? If she sets the prices low, let's say, her motivation is that a lot of people come and enjoy or benefit. So even if she doesn't make as much money, let's say. So is this selfish or unselfish, or is it a higher objective, let's say? She's
Higher,
not thinking of,
higher is a comparative term. So what are
yes.
you comparing it to? That's important.
I mean, what determines then the success of her choice.
The higher
she
the
has
ideal. Like
sorry.
the higher the idea. In this case, she's not trying to run a program to benefit herself. She's not
Yes.
charging for the program. Neither is she running the program for benefiting the general society, as in I would like them to be entertained. She has a clear motive. I would like to contribute towards Vedanta University.
Hmm.
So every decision she takes has to be pertaining to that. She can charge her ticket at 1 lakh, right? But if nobody lands up at her show, then she will be in loss. So she won't have
Yes.
raised money. So every
Yes.
decision she takes has to be with that one thing in mind. Then she becomes objective and takes the right decision.
Yes. Because then it's not her own interest or her own, let's say, desire is in place, but it's the higher purpose, which is to support the university. Yes, okay, it makes
So
sense.
now when she has to tell people, you do this, you do this, you do this, it will no longer be that she is telling people to do it, but what is required for the cause. If she thinks that, okay, so we need to do this, but one person cannot do it, we need 7 people to do it, then she will go around collecting 7 people. That's his objectivity, right? Just doing what needs to be done.
Thank you.
Janki ji, one question. That means whenever there is selfishness that harm objectivity in any area.
Of course. Like a child wants to go to the US, but my mommy is so attached to me, and so he says, "You can't leave me, you can't leave me." She's lost her objectivity about what is good or not good for him.
But those people who want to make money for their own selfish means, if they move step by step, analyzing whatever is happening, if he wants to make some investment, and analyze in that objectivity can lead him to make money now.
Very interesting question, and it seems almost like it is a contradiction to what we just said. But actually, that's not what happens. The guys who make money are the guys who enable others to make money.
So, in their selfishness, unknowingly, they are benefiting others. That means
Not unknowingly. They know that. Suppose I don't know what. Suppose I am a contract, right? And I want a government contract. Now I sent in my tender. Now what am I going to do? Now I'm going to make sure that the minister makes money because of the money I'm making, right? That's how I'm getting my thing. So all the time, the way money is made, most people think that I want money, I want to become CEO, and I'm going for it. That's not how it's done. How it's done is always enabling others to make it, because that's what pushes you up. Nobody's going to, I mean, if I want to make money, are you going to come and help me make money? Obviously not, right? You're going to say, okay, you make money, but what am I making? So when I'm able to cooperate with others, that's when I actually make the money. And very
can you also,
interestingly,
okay.
there is an English saying that sort of illustrates this. Can anyone tell me what that saying is?
You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Okay, fine. That's a possibility. Yes, there's another one. Because here, I'm talking about negative actions. So in negative action, I'll tell you what it is. Thick as
Thieves.
Thieves.
thick as thieves. What do you learn from that? Even to rob from somebody, these guys have to do cooperative endeavor. Thick as thieves. Always find that a very, very interesting, what should I say, a very interesting phrase. You know what thick as thieves means? They're extremely good friends. They're as good friends as thieves are friends. And I just think, wow, why would a thief be friends, you know? Because they are not robbing from one another. With one another, they're extremely noble. And that's how they are able to work together and thieve. Imagine bank robbery, you know, theft and all. Now, how are they all working together? Then they double cross each other in the end. That's different. But to get that working, they have to work together. So when the Bhagavad Gita says that cooperative endeavor is the only way to success, we are all thinking on a different plane. But the thing is, if it's a law, it has to work through. So these people who actually make money, there are many people in this world who want to make money. They don't make it. Don't you know? Thousands and thousands want to be rich. But are they rich? Thousands and thousands of them have read the book. What is it? Think and Grow Rich. Has anybody thought and gotten rich? Bestsellers. So many people bought the book. So how many people became rich then as a consequence of it? You don't get it. So
in cooperative endeavor also, their eyes are only on themselves.
but maybe so, but they will not be able to achieve unless the cooperative endeavor exists. They can't be done. It's a law.
Okay.
Even so, at each level, it's different, right? At the level of thieves, there's a certain thing. At the level of Mahatma Gandhi, it's a different thing. But the law has to pervade.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a very interesting thing. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've always found it a very interesting part of Vedanta study. How these laws are applicable at every stage. You know, most people think of it as at a stage. But if it's a law, it has to be universally true. That means why a thief is successful has to be the same reason why Bill Gates is successful, and has to be the same reason why a man choosing to realize the self is going to be successful. It's like you got to basically have the same rules. It doesn't matter which class you're in. The rules are going to stay the same. Like in a school, right? The rules stay the same. It doesn't matter which class you're in. They, of course, apply differently at different levels. Okay, we good to go on? Okay. Right. So if you look at this diagram over here in front of us, if you're happy to 60%, how are you happy to 60%? You have got, 70%. Okay, let's read. When wisdom is 10%, the support required from the world is 90%. That is, 90% of his happiness is dependent on things going his way, his desires being met. When this support is available, the individual is happy. If he does not have 90% fulfilled by the world, he is miserable, as he is unable to escape his agitations. Caught by those agitations. Adi Shankaracharya refers to it as being like captives in hell. This is something important for us to understand, that it is not that we have a choice there anymore. This agitation is a given. You can't go to that person and you can't go to yourself and say, don't be agitated. It won't work because that is not met. Captives in hell.
Why not captives in heaven? Because you're enjoying, but you are a captive.
No, you're not enjoying. You've now lost that support from the world for whatever reason. Now you can't escape your misery. This is when the agitation has started.
Right. Got it.
Okay.
But this is also true for 90% of his happiness is on things. He's still a captive, but he's a captive in heaven then, correct?
Yes, I mean he's living in the bliss of ignorance. Captive in heaven means he's caught there, when he wants to leave. He doesn't want to leave. But he has got he is lucky at the moment that all these things have matched in his life. And the frightening part is he doesn't know he's lucky. In any and everybody's life, at some point it will all sink, and at some point it will not sink. This will go on throughout life, everybody's life. Now, when it has sunk, it has sunk means when the sinking is on, we forget that the sinking can divorce at any time. You need 80% from the world. It's there now. You don't know when this 80% can become 70 or 60 or 40. That is why you find some people, when they meet with disaster, they simply can't take it because their original level was only 20 or 30. And some other people find it easier to take the disasters of life because their original level was close to this in the beginning. Anyway, it's all written now. We'll read. I think it's written. You go ahead, Omkar. If the individual had the 90% he required, but then later it reduced to 60%, agitations will hit him. Now his happiness will be only 70%. Happiness is a function of desire and wisdom. Desire, fulfillment, and wisdom together make up to 100% happiness. If the wisdom is 70%, the individual requires 30% from the world to be happy. What happens? Am I going backwards? You're going back. So I hope that the general idea is clear, right? That when you are developed 70%, you need 30% from the world. So if you are 100% happy currently, your potential agitation is 30%. Can you see it on the screen? Potential agitation is 30%. Okay. Now let's go further. This much is clear, right?
This is the next slide. You want me to go further?
Did we do this?
Okay.
No, wait. Am I making? We've done this, no?
Yes, but you thought this was going back. That's why. This is.
Okay, the next one after this.
Okay.
So if you see, sorry, Omkar, go back to that one. So you see this chappie's wisdom is 10%. Right? Now his fulfilled desire is up to 70%. So he has got 20% agitation. Clear, no? These numbers are clear. All right, let's go.
Jankiji, I'm not understanding the chart very clearly, although I've understood the paragraph was fine, but I'm not understanding the chart.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. If you understood the paragraph,
Yes. Okay.
I mean, it's like this guy's at 10%. Okay, spiritual growth. But he has 50% from the world. So now he's at 60% of happiness. No, sorry. Now he's at 70% of happiness. Right. So 30% is still left. See, wisdom is 10%. His happiness is 70%. He's not recognizing that 70% can also go. He's just complaining about the agitation of the last 30%.
Yes, yes. Understood that part. Thank you.
And life has a way of dropping that support of fulfillment, either by loss or fear of loss or boredom. Boredom arises because fulfilled desires lose their potency. You see, so even if you are now at 100%, the stability of the happiness is not there. Why? Because you could lose it. You could maybe not lose it, but you could be frightened of losing it. Again, you lost it. Even the fear of loss creates agitation, right? Or you could simply get bored with it. Why does boredom come? Because fulfilled desires lose their potency. They lose their capacity to please. Thus, often the rich suffer from hopelessness. The poor have hope to sustain them. The hope of one day acquiring the riches and being happy. The rich know it is the sin of knowledge. The rich have found out, even if I get all that money, nothing much is going to happen in my life. When wisdom rises to 60%, desires fall to 40%. Now, 40% of this person's happiness is dependent on his desires being satisfied. So if you 60% wisdom, you need 40% from the world. An enlightened soul, Buddha or Mahavir, Christ or Krishna, has 100% wisdom and hence requires nothing. Such a person's desires are zero. Nothing agitates him. The Ishavasya Upanishad says, for one who sees the essence, where is the sorrow? Where is the delusion? Ekatvam anupashyati. Katra putra moha. Putra shoka. If you have oneness with everybody, what delusion? Delusion means you're going crazy about something. You're losing your objectivity. Putra shoka. Where is there sorrow? If you have ekatvam means the feeling of oneness with everybody. Sorrow is impossible. Says the Upanishad. You can take it or leave it. A direct quote from the Upanishad. Let's continue. Oh, Mahesh, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, so agitation can also mean excitement, right? It not be negative. Like say some mother, excited to see her son coming from the US the next day. So she's all excited. She's making stuff for him, cleaning his room, and just euphoric that he's coming the next day. So is that also agitation? I mean, she has a desire to see him, and is that also considered agitation? I mean, excitement.
Your question and your example have nothing to do with each other. Excitement in the particular case that you're speaking is definitely agitation because it is unfulfilled desire. The son is still not come. She will feel calm only when he comes.
Yeah, I mean, what I meant, she's excited. So is excitement an agitation?
Yeah, in this case, definitely she's very agitated because her desire is in full potency and object is not available.
Okay. And then is happiness also sort of agitation or no?
No, happiness is the fall in agitation. Now she'll become very happy when she sees him. Why? Because her agitations were very high.
Okay.
But Janki, one often experiences happiness in the waiting also, right? The longing, the waiting. The sun is going to come tomorrow. That looking forward to feeling is also gives a sense of happiness, no?
Does it? I don't know. It seems that they're more agitated. Can she sleep that night?
But in But in joy, in excitement, yeah, she wouldn't be able to sleep.
That's
But
agitation.
that, oh, that's also agitation.
Yeah, because of longing, right? So you'll say because you've read too much love poetry, you've been reading
No
Omkar.
ways, not me. I wish I was.
But all of it says, oh, what a sweet pleasure in longing for my beloved, and all that they have, all these songs. Now, what that means is that you have a beloved at all. See, everyone wants to feel one with somebody. That you have somebody at all is a fulfilled desire. The part which is fulfilled is making you happy. The part which is unfulfilled will make you unhappy. So when you say I want to have a relationship, I mean the fact that you have it, even if the person is not there, is sometimes happiness. That it is there, that simply exists. Versus the earlier state where you still didn't have anyone. So that way there is some desire fulfillment.
This is for the normal mortals like us, but somebody like a Mirabai who had a very strong desire for meeting her Krishna, so as to say. Was she unhappy all that time? Or rather, sorry, agitated?
You have to, it's the same law. Just like that mother is happy that her son is coming because now she knows he's coming, but agitated that he has not yet come. So too, Meera is very, very happy in the feeling of the Lord and everything else being useless around her. Useless means she's gone above all this stuff, right? But she's still got the agitation if she's not yet realized of merging with the Lord. So people are not, I mean, your desires are not one thing. It's like some of it is fulfilled and some of it is not. So you feel the fact that you have a longing for the Lord and therefore completely satisfied with the world seems to you a better state than to be dissatisfied with the world and not have a longing for God. It is a bit. So it's all, human beings are not like one thing. It's what it's called. It's messy.
But I mean, the reason I asked about happiness, you can be so happy that you can't sleep, right? You say a student has come first in the board exams. He's so happy and excited he can't sleep. His desire is fulfilled, but his excitement is also keeping him from sleeping.
Well, the law always is that as long as there is a desire, you will be agitated. And when the desire is fulfilled, there is calmness. Now, why this person is not able to sleep, that we can not. I mean, we don't know what is the desire which is currently being unfulfilled. I mean, maybe he's getting a trophy tomorrow. I don't know what it is. But that's the law. So it has to be some desire. Otherwise, what are you staying up for? You should be so satisfied and go to sleep. I wanted to do something, I did it and finished with it. But it's not finished. Something is not finished. We don't know what is not finished. Maybe he has to get a trophy tomorrow. Maybe I don't know what. Maybe he has to tell somebody tomorrow. Some desire has to be left, no? Yes,
Okay.
sir. Now very quickly we can do it because we are beyond. You're
You're
muted.
muted, Tarun.
Sorry. I saw that 1 minute video of yours where you said, imagine a state where you love a person where you don't need anything, not even his presence and not even anything. So, is it practicable thing or it is a result of your maturity?
Result of your
Second one.
always,
Right, right.
love is always spontaneous, no? So it always is the result of something, never doing anything.
Just wanted to check. Thank you.